Hi everybody, I hope that you're all doing really well. So today it is time to talk about my winter favourites, which is my little list of things bookish and non-bookish that I have been particularly loving in the last few months. First off, since this is a booktube channel, I am going to start with the books, and of course I can't do this video without talking about Les Miserables by Victor Hugo, which I've been reading as part of my read-along along with Kieran over at KD Books, and is still ongoing, so if you are wanting to try and read this, there is still time. I've been getting messages on the Discord server of people being like, oh, I'm so late for this, and I'm like, no, a queen is never late, everyone else is simply early. And yeah, I've been really loving reading this. I feel like reading this for a second time has just opened up so much about the way that Victor Hugo writes and like the messages he's trying to get across. And I do particularly recommend this translation by Christine Donahue. You might not be able to find this particular edition anymore, which is the Penguin Deluxe Classic. However, I'm pretty sure that the new Black Classic, which I will insert a picture of here, is with this translation. Basically, if you find Christine Donahue, you're onto a winner. She's really good. I feel like it's a much cleaner, more understandable translation. And my other favourite from the past few months is of course The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I feel like I've talked about this non-stop over the last few weeks, but there is a great reason for it, and that's because it's fantastic. Through the course of this book, we are following our title character Addie LaRue, or Adeline LaRue as she was originally born, who makes a deal with a god or a devil in order to escape her future of being married off, because she doesn't want to be accountable to anybody. She wants to have freedom. She wants to be able to live a life of adventure outside of her small little French town. She basically makes a deal with this god or devil who she comes to know as Luke, and he agrees to basically give her immortality, to make it so that she is no longer going to be accountable to anybody, and that this will last for as long as she wants it. And she's thinking, great, everything that I want. But she hasn't read the small print, said small print being that people forget Addie. She may have conversations with people, she may spend the entire day with a person, but the second that they walk away from her, the second that they fall asleep, the second they close the door on her, they instantly forget her. And this book is us basically following Addie for the next 300 years, trying to live with this curse. Because when you stop and think about it, there is so much that this curse restricts Addie with. She can't hold down a job because no employer would remember her. She can't own a home. She has very few ways of earning money. She cannot buy or even rent a home because the second that she would shut her door, the landlord, the hotel manager, the innkeeper would instantly forget her, and if they saw her, they'd kick her out thinking that she was a vagrant. She can't have real, true relationships with anybody because she's constantly having to refresh. However, we get to 2014 and the plot starts to thicken as she comes across a man in New York who seems to remember her, and we are basically unraveling how this could be. I think it's great, you should read it. Next up, I wanted to talk about some clothing loves from the past few months, and I think anybody who knows me well could have seen from a mile away, I am of course going to be recommending Joni clothing. I feel like I have enabled many a person into buying Joni clothing, and I have spent more money than I care to admit on it. And for somebody who, prior to this past year, rarely bought clothes for anything, like the amount of money that I have spent on Joni clothing is ungodly. But I'm very pleased with my wardrobe, so I'm going to try and insert some clips right now so that you can see some of the things I've got in the last few months. Originally back in summer when I bought some things from them, I was buying a lot of dresses and some nice shirts. I've expanded it out, so now I've got some more jumpers. I've even bought a few things to wear as pajama tops, and I just really love their style. It's kind of vintage looking cuts but with modern patterns and colours. There's a lot of like fandom and literary appreciation items. I feel like they're really nice quality, they fit really well. I'm a massive fan, and quite frankly I think they should sponsor me. Hey Joni. I mean, I think they should. I've directed many a person to their website. I am a great enabler of Joni clothing. Next up, for an accessory favourite, you might be able to notice because I'm wearing them right now, but I've been like really enjoying wearing some fun earrings for videos especially. I feel especially because in videos you can only really see like the top part of me from like just above my chest to my head. I feel like it's kind of important to decorate this area. Sounds so weird to say out loud, but you know what I mean. And I feel like a really key part of that are like fun earrings. Any of my family or my friends from school will know that I've always been a massive advocate for dangly earrings, but I feel like since I started my channel, my collection has grown quite a lot. I've got these which I picked up in a jewellery shop in the Halifax Peace Hall. I haven't been able to find these exact earrings online, but I have found the Etsy shop of the designer. I'm also a really big fan of Eclectic Eccentricity, or I think they are now called Lucent Studios. They make really fun jewellery. And yeah, over the past few months I've just been expanding my earring collection, and I am very pleased about it. I don't really have much in the way of new beauty products to show you. I've not really tried any like new makeup or skincare. However, a big key need of mine in the winter months is trying to keep things nice and moisturised. Particularly my hands and my lips can suffer quite a lot in the wintertime. If I'm not slavering on like hand cream or lip balm like every couple of hours, it's not good. It's not good. And usually I kind of have to grin and bear it because I've never found a product that really helps. However, this year, Palmer's, Coming clutch, I've got the Palmer's Cocoa Butter Swivel Stick, which is a much bigger version of their traditional lip balm, and then also their Cocoa Butter Lotion, which I'm mainly using for my hands at the moment, though it is traditionally for your body, which I also use it for. And these two products have been absolutely fantastic because I usually feel like when it comes to winter time, my hands are just so chapped and dry that the lip balm and the hand cream that I usually use, they're just like temporary measures. They will alleviate the symptoms of dryness for maybe like 10 seconds, and then I'm back to feeling dry and unhappy. What a phrase. But I feel like both of those products actually do something. They actually work. I still need to be diligent about applying them every now and then, but like they're doing a job. They're actually helping me, and I don't feel like my lips and hands are just dying. So thank you, Palmer's. Next up, I have a couple of TV shows to talk to you about. Firstly, one that I've not quite finished but I've been really enjoying is The Great. This stars Elle Fanning and Nicholas Hoult and tells the early story of Catherine the Great and her rather turbulent relationship when she was young with her husband Peter, who, to put it mildly, was not a nice guy. But rather than being a historical drama, it is played as a comedy. Very, very reminiscent to The Favourite with Olivia Colman. That kind of humour where it's still like a costume drama but with a lot of modern references, a lot of modern jokes. It can be quite absurdist at some points. I've only seen the first 5 episodes so far, but I'm really, really enjoying it. I wasn't 100% sure it was going to be my cup of tea, but I think it's not quite as weird and bizarre as The Favourite was, which is kind of like my outer limit for weird films, which gives you a little bit of a sense of my taste in films. Like, Wes Anderson is absolutely not for me. I can just about do Baz Luhrmann, but any weirder than that and I'm like, argh. But a TV show that I have seen the entirety of and is fantastic. If you get the chance, you absolutely have to watch it. It's a sin. Though I will say, make sure that you have your tissues nearby because it is unrelentingly sad. This is a 5-part drama that was released by Channel 4, set between 1981 and 1991. It chronicles the lives of a group of friends as they basically navigate the AIDS crisis in Britain. And it is so incredibly powerful, so moving, but it's a roller coaster of emotions. You laugh in 1 minute and cry in the next, and oh, it's so good. It's so good. I can't even use proper words. I just urge you all to watch it. And if it doesn't get all the award nominations, I am going to be fuming because it is the best piece of television that I have seen in recent years. The fact that in just 5 episodes you feel like you really know these characters and you grow to really love them. You really feel in the course of the 5 episodes like you are going through an entire decade with them and you know them so well, and that's why it is so devastating when you see what happens to the friendship group. I think the social commentary is spot on. The script, the costumes, the music, it's just so well done. And I think it's just an absolute must watch for everybody. A quick film favourite that I wanted to mention is the fact that the Rodgers and Hammerstein Cinderella from 1997 starring Brandy and Whitney Houston is now on Disney+. Yes! And I'm very curious to know how many people grew up with this particular film of Cinderella, because I feel like it's one that a lot of like British kids my age didn't grow up with, because every time I mention it, people are like, what? No? I tried to tell a friend about this and they kind of laughed at me and acted as if I was lying, like I was making it up. Because when you kind of explain, no, Brandy is Cinderella and Whitney Houston is the fairy godmother, Jason Alexander's in it, Whoopi Goldberg is the queen and Victor Garber is the prince, and they have Paolo Montalban as their child. Bernadette Peters is the stepmother. It's such a fantastic cast, but for whatever reason Disney seemed to have ignored it for so long and it wasn't on Disney Plus initially. They haven't even released the soundtrack and the music in it is so good, so why have they not done this? Yeah, I have no words. I'm just really, really pleased that it is now on Disney Plus. And if you didn't watch it as a child, I urge you to please watch it now. It's incredible and it really does hold up. And then finally, I have a few YouTube and social media loves. First off, can we really talk about social media from the last few months without mentioning Luke Millington Drake? I'm sure all of you have seen his videos on TikTok or Instagram, but if not, you gotta. Luke mainly does like short little impression videos, mainly of Keira Knightley and Hugh Grant, and they are so good. They are just spot on. I'm also a big fan of his Nigella Lawson. He also grew up with a mother who had a very strong Midwest American accent, and then also his father who was like very stereotypically RP British man. So he'll often do videos like comparing and contrasting the two, and they're just delightful as well. Now, maybe you were surprised to see that Bridgerton was not on my winter favourites list. And the reason for that is that I've not watched it yet. And no, I do not know why it's taken me so long to watch it. It's one of those shows where I've been like, okay, once I finish watching this thing, I definitely will watch Bridgerton. I really want to watch Bridgerton. I've just not yet, and I really want to, so I don't know why I keep putting it off. But following Bridgerton's release, there has of course been so many commentaries, criticisms, controversies around historical accuracy in regards to Bridgerton. And I always think it's funny how the complaints about historical accuracy often will not come from historians themselves, but people who think that they know what they're talking about and they don't. Like with The Crown's release, I've really enjoyed seeing historians' takes on this, which basically boil down to, number one, it's not that deep. Number two, do you really think that the writers and the historical advisors did not consider the things that you are criticising? Do you really think they made these changes to the history like unknowing? Absolutely not. More often than not, it was a narrative choice. In the big debate between historical accuracy and drama, drama will tend to win out, and that is right because it is fiction. My stance is that as long as it's not a complete distortion, as long as it's not hurting anybody, it's fine. I think it's fine to make changes in order to satisfy a narrative, because that is what film and literature is. It is a narrative, it is not real life. And nitpicky articles that are like, this was wrong and this was wrong and this was wrong, are often by people who don't know what they're talking about. And one of my favourite videos on this subject was actually from a booktuber. Mara from Books Like Whoa did a fantastic video. Historical accuracy is garbage, and here's why. It's an hour long, yes, but I promise you it is worth every second. Really digging into these nitpicky articles and the things that people will often say, and why we can never 100% guarantee anything in history. How history is not set and fixed, like it is constantly being updated and changed, because different societies prioritise different things in their history, and new discoveries are constantly being made. What we knew about a particular time period 20 years ago has adapted and changed so much to now. I think it's a great video. I think you should all watch it. I like seeing people talk about historical accuracy, but in a way that is very considered and not nitpicky, and not being like this and this is wrong and therefore this thing is garbage. That there is definitely draw and appeal to videos which are talking about historical accuracy and how far we can say that something is historically accurate. And the final thing that I want to recommend you in this vein is Abby Cox's video on The Muppets Christmas Carol and the costumes, particularly on the Muppets, and how they are surprisingly accurate to the Victorian time period. Did they have to be? Absolutely not. But they did it anyway, they put that effort in anyway, and it is delightful to see Abby get so excited about this. And if you are into costume history at all, then I definitely recommend Abby Cox. She is a recent discovery in my little historical garments, costumes, YouTube world. So yes, that is a little collection of things that I have been loving in the past few months, things that have really been helping to keep the winter blues at bay. Do let me know any of your favourites of the past few months, whether they are books or TV or clothes. Let me know if you have any thoughts about the things that I mentioned today. I'd love to hear from you. I hope you're having a fantastic, fantastic day, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Thanks. Bye.